You've had another long day. You finish work, walk through the door, drop your bag, and your body just shuts off. You tell yourself you'll hit the gym later, but you know deep down that you won't. I know that cycle far too well. I lived it for years. I tell myself I was too tired, but the truth was, I was just too comfortable. Today I'm going to show you the exact method that I use so that I never skip the gym even after a 10-hour shift. And it's not because I have more motivation or more discipline, it's because I built a system that makes quitting quite literally impossible. Let me tell you a bit of backstory. 2 years ago I was working and studying over 50 hours a week. I'd always come home absolutely exhausted, and I would always tell myself the classic saying, after a bit of rest then I'll go and train. And then I'd end up scrolling until midnight. I'd wake up feeling worse, promise to do better, then repeat the same cycle. And the thing is, I wasn't a lazy person, I was just stuck in habits that made quitting the easier option. And if you're a guy working full time right now, I know you get that. You finish a shift, you've been standing all day, or you've been sitting at a desk for hours, and simply put, you're drained. And the last thing you want to do is go and drag yourself to the gym. But that's where most people get it wrong, because what's even harder than not going to the gym is living with the regret of not doing it. A phrase I always like to say is the regret of inaction is far greater than the pain of taking action. So for habit number 1, the moment you get home, never sit down. I know it sounds simple, but sitting is the #1 trap that allows procrastination to take over. Because when you sit down, it's easier to start negotiating with yourself. And when you start negotiating whether you should take action or not, that's when you're more likely to quit. So as soon as you get home, the first step is to take action. Walk in, drop your bag, get moving, no excuses. When I started doing this, I noticed a huge difference. I wasn't wasting an hour on the couch scrolling as soon as I got back. I did this consistently before every single session, and that allowed me to drastically improve my physique while still working a lot. For habit number 2, set yourself up the night before. And what I mean by this is having your gym clothes ready, your bag packed, and your meal prepped. When I first did this, I realized that 80% of quitting is just decision fatigue. So by removing those hard decisions, you're making the excuses disappear. So if you don't prepare yourself when you know you're going to have a long shift, you're basically relying on taking action by how much motivation you have that day. That little voice in your head will tell you you're tired, you deserve a rest, skip the gym today. But when you've prepped, the work's already done. You just go, otherwise you've wasted all of your time preparing last night. And with prep, it's also freed up mental energy. And what I mean by that is, instead of debating with yourself at night, you're instead resting the brain and hitting the gym next day, knowing that the process of you going to the gym tomorrow is basically automated. Now, habit number 3 is a bit of a harsh one, but it's the gym or nothing rule. If I didn't train, I wasn't allowed to go on Netflix or any social media on my phone. Yes, I know it's strict and a little bit extreme, but it works. Because most people skip the gym, then reward themselves. And that is the polar opposite of what builds discipline. So this rule created a chain reaction. I ended up training consistently because I wanted to watch my favorite show at night. My energy went up, my confidence also went up. And when you start to see rapid progress like that, even the thought of skipping the gym becomes unthinkable. And every session I did this, it reinforced my new identity, that I'm not the type of guy to skip the gym after work. Now, habit number 4 is to shift your identity. And what I mean by that is that you need to mentally sort of hypnotize yourself into believing that you're already that guy who doesn't skip the gym. For example, when I was working and studying over 50 hours a week, I had skipped the gym so many times that I couldn't even trust myself when I say I was going to go to the gym that night. So what I did was, as many times throughout the day as possible, I would tell myself, I'm jacked. I wasn't at the time at all, I was nowhere near jacked, but I would tell myself I'm jacked, I'm shredded, I'm handsome, so many times to the point where I would start to believe myself. I would ask myself, would the jacked version of me even think of skipping the gym? Absolutely not. And when you genuinely believe in this new self-identity, consistency literally becomes automatic. Now, this one may take a little while to get your head around, because it's pretty hard to think you're jacked when you're not. And trust me, I felt like the dumbest person in the world doing this, but eventually, with enough repetitions of you telling yourself that you're jacked, you just start believing it. And for habit number 5, I feel like this is one people do not do anywhere near as much as they should, and it's to literally celebrate small wins. Every single session you don't skip, that's a win. Do not wait for an insane transformation picture to validate your effort, because even the smallest wins will reinforce consistency. I track my wins casually as often as possible. I trained 4 times this week. That's a win. I lifted 2 kilos heavier than last session. That's a win. Because these small wins add up into bigger wins. And for me, seeing that I was actually making progress, that is what kept me going. Here's the truth. After work, everyone is tired. But only a few turn that fatigue into momentum. You cannot control your energy, but you can control your actions. And these habits aren't some made up theory. I've built my physique, my energy, and my confidence around these habits. And you can too. So the main idea of all of these habits is to make sure comfort never wins. Never get too comfortable, because that's when taking action becomes incredibly difficult. But all 5 habits eliminate you getting too comfortable. If this video helped you out, you will love what I post on Instagram, because I share simple fat loss strategies every single day for busy working men. So if you want more tips like this, follow my Instagram in the description below, and I'll see you in the next one.